So here is my Bantams, and just a few days ago we picked up a few baby ducklings. We haven't had ducklings in about a year, and my daughter loves everything baby, and we love having ducks. Just the ducks that we get in the past have been, eventually hawks have gotten two of them, but these are Muscovies, so I think they're going to be a little bit better at avoiding predators. But here are the little guys. There's 4 of them. Someone brought them in that their ducks were just hatching. Muscovies hatch ducks like crazy in the spring, and their ducks were just having clutches and clutches of babies in their yard, so they brought a bunch to our feed store, and our feed store started selling them, 4 of them. So there's our baby ducks. And here is my Bantam flock. There's about 9 chickens in here. You can see that one is hollering because she just laid an egg. But they're the model Cochin, he's the daddy, and then I have 2 Old English game Bantams I've had for a couple of years that I got from Ideal Poultry in here with him. He's not related to them. And then also this red Cochin I got from Ideal Poultry, same time I got these, so she's not related. But all the rest of the chickens in here are from him. Basically last year's, maybe a couple from the year before, that are his, and they're all hens except for that rooster right there, which he's a full Cochin, but he's a mix between the red Cochin and the mottled Cochin. But these are my proliferating flock, as I call them. They go broody all the time. Cochins and Old English Bantams are really broody, and when they go broody, I put the eggs under them that I want to hatch, and they hatch out the next generation of chickens for me. So I don't have to buy more, more flock, which I do add more to the flock for outside bloodline. Every year or two I get a few chickens, but this is my chicken house, and then I have this huge yard that they run around in, that's fenced around the outside of my garden, and I just let them out of their house to run around their yard whenever I'm at home, in the weekends and the afternoons when I'm around, to keep an eye on them, because we do have foxes, foxes, so we lock them in their house. We have a chick safe timer, which this is about $250, but it's the best thing that we ever bought for our farm, besides our self-watering systems, and it will automatically, we got it set right now where it won't open unless we manually open it, but no matter what, it'll close at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock right now to make sure it's dark. And that this house right here is like a fortress against predators that come out at night, like hawks and foxes and owls and raccoons and stuff like that, dogs. And that's why I only let them out into their fenced areas. I got a 4-foot fence around their entire area back here, but they dogs or whatever could get in here if they really wanted to, so that's why I only let them out whenever I'm home. And my whole property is fenced too, but every now and then somebody's dog finds a stray dog, or someone's dog in the neighborhood finds a way to get in here, so into this main little fenced area, so I try to keep them as safe as possible. The Buff Orpington and one of my Moran mixes. So my rooster is a black copper Moran mixed with Pioneer chickens, and that's part of my foundational flock. And then here is another one of my pure hens. That's a Golden Lace Wyandotte. I have 2 of those that I purchased last year in the spring. And back here you'll see a barred rock that came from that same group, which is having a hard time just focusing. And then there's a Pioneer Americana mix from my foundational flock. Right now I have 9 hens. I like to keep around a dozen. And I'd like to keep them, no more than 2 years old, so that they're in their peak laying. And when they get older than that, I process them and can them up and make boneless chicken in my pressure canner. And I'm always buying fresh new ones, and like you saw, the biddies. That way we can keep things as optimal as possible around here. And when I come across some more of the big chickens, I'll show you. But here's some of my rabbit breeding pens. These are what I call the grow out pens. These are where I put the mamas whenever they're about to have babies, and then they have their babies, and then I take the mama out once they get bigger, and they have these really big pens to do their growing out in. And my husband built these out of aluminum. And here is one of my mamas. I had problems with my buck. I thought I was going to get another year out of my buck. And I generally try to keep one or at least two, but and this is one of the ones that I've bred myself. So along with my chickens, I also have been breeding my own stock of meat rabbits for the last 6 years. And they started out being a mixture of Flemish Giants, New Zealand Whites, Rex, California Giants, and California Rabbits. Or I'm sorry, Chinchilla, Giant Chinchilla and California Rabbits. So, here is my setup, and I can see this, I keep tying this feeder back up, and this particular rabbit just somehow knocks this feeder down, so I'm gonna have to get some more wire and wire this back on. But the doe that I just showed you and the doe that these other two does have been bred from my foundational rabbits. And here's another one. These are Chinchilla, Flemish Giant, New Zealand White with some Rex mixed in, standard Rex mixed in there. This is my other doe. This is a first year doe. The doe I just showed you is 2 or 3. And here's one thing that's an idea for you. And usually this has a lid on it when there's babies in there, but I don't know if she's pregnant right now. I had to get a new buck because my buck, he just wasn't doing it for me this year. So now we've got a young buck that we're trying out, and I don't know if he's quite ready, but he's trying. So we're just going to keep trying until he figures it out. Which I still have tons of rabbit in my freezer from last year. I grew over 100 baby rabbits last year out of 4 does. So it's not a super big deal for him and his learning curve and him being a little bit young. I only breed them in the fall, basically from October to May is when I breed my rabbits. Other than that, it's too hot, and so they're not too keen on that. It's not good for them, and they're not really fertile. This is my new buck. He's a pure New Zealand White. Just got him about a month ago. He's probably about 6-7 months old, but he's still learning how to be a big boy and be a man on the farm. So he's trying to get there. But once he gets it figured out, he'll be a good new addition to our breeding program for our meat rabbits. And hopefully by fall, we'll have some of his babies on the ground. Generally by January I've got babies on the ground, but like I said, my buck, I thought I was going to get another year out of him, but he's not fertilizing them. Here's my final doe, and she might be pregnant. I'm hoping she's looking a little thick, but they've been getting a lot. She kind of feels pregnant too, but maybe that would be awesome. That would be so awesome. She has turned out to be gorgeous, huge, thick-bodied, round meat rabbit. And this is her first year. This one and the one down there on the end are the ones that I just showed you. Those are my saves. Those are my 2 best from last year's breeding. So I'm happy to get this thing going again with a brand new buck. And I have these latches on these pins, and they get wiggled and jiggled no matter if you put the little carabiners on there or not. But I found that using these plant ties that I buy in a roll from Dollar Tree, and I love them. They're my favorite thing to tie up my tomato plants with. But they also are coming out to be the best thing to keep my doors closed and locked securely so that they don't wiggle and jiggle and open up. And this is what I call my 3-hole breeding pen. It's where I keep them whenever they're just chilling or I'm getting ready to breed them. And there's 3 sections of the pen. This used to be a big quail pen, a colony quail pen when I used to raise Contornix quail. And we just put an extra door in there and sectioned it off when we switched to rabbits. Which, not saying that we won't grow quail again, because we probably will, because it's a great thing to grow, but just not doing it right now. Let's see what happens in the next little while. Everything's always evolving. And then there's my Americana. That's a pure Americana that I got from the feed store. She's about 3 years old. She is the only Americana that she still lays, so I'm keeping her around. She don't eat much, and she does good at avoiding predators. I can see that I got where they pulled down my watering system. They're drinking out of it right now, so I got to fix that too. That's why you got to check on your animals every day, because you never know what they'll do or what'll happen. But normally when I buy new chickens from the feed store to add new blood to my flock, those I will generally be able to get some eggs out of them and fertilize them and grow some offspring. But within the first couple years of them being around, eventually they'll get taken out by a hawk, because hawks are just so bad around here. But their offspring, the mamas grow and the mamas raise up, they have a lot more awareness to looking out for predators, because their mama teaches them that stuff, and so they don't have any problems. They'll grow old here, and as many hawks as I have all around all the time, they will avoid them. So that's just kind of how it goes whenever you buy chickens that are not raised in a natural setting by their mamas. They're just not they're not raised to be able to survive the surrounding as good as ones that are proliferated by nature, I guess you would say. So I'm gonna wrap this up. That's basically what I got going on with my rabbits. No baby rabbits yet, but hopefully it's looking like it's gonna be soon. We're going to be back into our spring fling with the baby rabbits. So talk to you later.